Choosy moms choose Jiffy.
No.
It doesn't sound right.
It doesn't at all.
Like
It doesn't. Jif.
choosy moms choose Jif, right?
Right.
That's the thing.
Mhm.
That's a whole nother topic, isn't it? Welcome everybody. This is Mostly Peaceful. I'm Rob.
I'm not Rob. I'm Jimmy. You can call me whatever you want. People do all over the internet.
All sorts of things.
Yeah.
Oh, they're mad at you.
Yeah. That's probably because I call them all communists and socialists and
Well,
shit. So yeah.
They shouldn't be.
That's right.
I mean, if you want to be a communist, fine. Go find
Yeah.
a 100-person commune where it
Yeah.
works really well and go sit in there.
And if you're a communist, why are you even watching our content? That's what gets me. Is
So
it
that
like
they have
hate watching?
It is. It's hate
Yeah.
watching. It's self-chastising,
Yeah.
right? They're abusing themselves
I'm going to go for one of these.
so that they have something to complain about.
Yeah.
Because I think they run out of things to complain about.
Right.
And then ultimately, like, well, what's the next thing that I can complain about? Oh, these two fucking idiots. Let's complain about them.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Definitely.
It blows my mind. It's like, all right, okay, fine. Complain about us. It's fine. I don't care. I'll move on.
Right. So I got something I want to bring up to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I come across this video and I don't know. No, Coach Colin. Coach Colin is a YouTuber that I've been watching lately. He's doing some political commentary, covers a lot of stuff from like Joe Rogan, Tim Pool and whatnot.
Okay,
And
so what is he a coach of?
he was an athletics like coach, I think, for a high school or something. And
Okay.
his YouTube channel was all athletics. And then
Oh,
he
okay.
started getting into politics and he kind of shifted and was like, this stuff's important. I need to talk about it. So I'm going this way.
Sure.
And I caught a couple of his videos and I'm like, oh, I like this guy, man. So I come across this video a couple days ago and Kristi Noem, okay, she is
I dig her.
yeah,
Yeah.
South Dakota, right? Governor of South
Governor
Dakota.
of South Dakota.
So she just went on Tucker Carlson talking about this bill that she vetoed. Okay. Have you heard about this?
Vaguely.
Okay. So she goes on Tucker to explain this bill that she gets handed halfway through the legislative session.
Yes.
Okay. It's 110 pages.
It's starting to come back to me, but go ahead.
110 pages handed to her, and it's presented to her as an OCC update, which is like a an update. It's a federal currency update of like rules and stuff, right?
Yes.
So she gets
Ooh,
this.
we're going to talk about CBDCs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in. Let's do this.
So she gets this thing and does what no one does. She fucking reads it, right? She reads it and she's like, oh, so this is not an update. This is, like you say, changing the whole dynamic. Okay. So in this bill, it actually outlaws in the state. I can't get this. I'm having trouble here.
I can tell.
I got it. So in the state of South Dakota,
Mhm.
it outlaws all crypto as legal tenders to be used as money. Bitcoin, any cryptocurrency you cannot use as a legal money. Okay. And it says that it in its language, it presents CBDCs as the only legal tender in the crypto space.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So she looks at this and she's like, basically saying, so you're basically trying to slip in this halfway through a legislative session
Mhm.
as 110 pages, which all the way in the back is like, oh, by the way, we're going to outlaw the use of crypto in the language. We're going to outlaw the use of crypto as a legal currency and also kind of put language in there that says the only legal digital currency will be a CBDC, right?
Mhm.
And she's like, okay, I'm vetoing this bill.
Rightfully so.
Exactly. No, I'm 100% with it, right?
Yeah.
Not a week or two later, Fed comes out with FedNow. I don't know if you've heard about FedNow.
Oh, yeah.
You have. Okay. The FedNow.
So they're touting it as an instant payment program.
which it is. And I watched
But let's just be honest about what it really is.
it is the platform in which a CBDC will be used. Okay. Because a CBDC it's basically a central bank digital currency. Where is the platform and where is the platform
Yeah.
for this to be used? It's basically the railroad tracks for the train.
Sure.
Right. So the question is this is where we're headed? Do you think this is where we're headed? Where they now keep in mind that all we're seeing, I don't know if it's, very mainstream, but the BRICS nations, right? The dollar is collapsing.
Mhm.
We see it.
Yeah.
We see our government almost purposely collapsing the dollar, doing the weirdest shit to collapse the dollar. And then you have the BRICS nations, right? You have Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, all banding together to basically
even brought in Saudi Arabia into this one.
Yeah.
Well, they're trying to.
They're trying
Yeah.
to. Saudi and Iran.
Yeah.
To basically shift away from doing all business, especially oil business, using the American dollar,
With
right?
the fiat currency,
So
for
this
sure.
would be a very easy thing to pass along to the American people is like,
Yep.
hey, look, the dollar is gone. The dollar is a day behind. So what you really need to do to protect your assets, right, and to really move into a new future is a central bank digital currency. And the problem with this is I have went to our federal government's website. I've read, because this is not conspiracy, okay? A couple years ago, this was conspiracy theory, central bank digital currencies and all this other. There has been paper after paper written by our government officials about central bank digital currencies, right? CBDCs, that within their coding shall have equity, shall have social reform.
But that's the goal, isn't it?
That's what that's exactly right.
It's not so much the currency that we should be worried about. It's the ESG, the social credit scores.
Yes, it's the blockchain to which.
And for those who don't know, ESG is environmental social governance. They want corporations to adopt this so that at the end of the day, you, the public, has a quote unquote social credit score where, and the easiest way it was explained, the easiest way that I understood it was, I have a great ESG score and Jimmy does not have a great ESG score. Right. So at the end of the day, rather than, so if I go in to buy a soda, right, my ESG score being so good, my soda only costs me quote unquote 3 credits, right? Jimmy, not having a great ESG score, goes in to buy the same soda and he pays 75 credits for it.
That's right.
That's the idea that they want. They want everybody with their carbon footprint and their social social score being what you do on Facebook, what you do on Twitter, what you do on TikTok, what you do on Snapchat. That is your social credit score. They want you to align in such a manner that the state is now in charge of your life as a whole, and you can do nothing about it.
You know, these laws that we talked about, like air conditioning regulations, right? Banning gas stoves. Well, what happens when the CBDC and your FedNow credit card that you have is the only form you have to purchase anything? And they say, well, you know what? Just write in the code, you can no longer buy a gas car.
Yeah.
You can't buy an air conditioner. Guns and ammo.
You can only buy the approved air conditioner.
Yeah. Guns and ammo is going away already. You got Discover. You've got all these people putting in different codes. Okay. Discover said that they were actually coding their gun and ammo purchases in a different manner as to notify them that all this shit you bought, we don't know what it is, don't care. But that gun and ammo you bought is now flagged.
We saw it.
And it's over here. And what happens when they say, well, you can only buy one and now you can buy none?
You can buy 2 bullets today.
Yeah. Is this where we're headed? I mean, in the blockchain, they talk about equity. What is equity? I'm so sick of hearing DEI, diversity, inclusion, equity. This is what they want built in.
Equity is...
Does this mean that based on me being a man, based on me being Caucasian, like, is this where we're headed with money, to the point of total control and subservience to the DEI and the ESG?
Yes, we've been headed that way since the 60s.
That's insanity. How it's, and
I
the
think
thing is,
Ron Paul was the one that said it. We've been heading that way, and he said it in a roundabout way. He didn't. I'm not quoting him by any means. He said we have been heading this way since the assassination of JFK.
Yeah,
and we all know now that the FBI admitted that they were involved in that.
Right.
In a roundabout way.
Twitter files, Twitter files. That was Twitter files 1.0 on a grand scale, but we know the FBI is involved in every fucking thing. They were the goddamn... Dude, these days, whenever they're like, there was a riot and it was a bunch of right-wing extremists, I'm like, by right-wing extremists, do you mean the FBI? Because that's literally what it is now. Yeah. But see, Kristi Noem, whenever she said, she was like, no, I'm wholeheartedly against this, because all it's doing is jumping us forward into putting in laws in place that will pave the way for this to be the only currency that we're allowed to use in my state. And I'm against it. So she vetoed the bill, and she said, make no mistake, there are 20 other states. And I saw this on another video where they mentioned explicitly 20 other states. The same language is being introduced in their legislative sessions.
If I remember correctly, I think Ron DeSantis just slapped that down too.
So
in some manner or form. I don't think it ever came to our house to be voted on, but it was like, it's never going to happen.
Oh yeah, it came straight to her as a house. It's like House Bill 1197 something. I don't know. Don't quote me. I don't fucking remember. But I mean, she was on Tucker, talking about it, and it just kind of piqued my interest, because it seems like that the time span between conspiracy theory and truth is just shrinking daily. It really is. Yeah. If you got somebody like, the dreaded Alex Jones talking about CBDCs, people are like, oh my God, really?
At this point, can we all just agree that Alex Jones is a near prophet?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, let's just say that out loud.
Yeah. My wife asked me this morning who Alex Jones was. We were watching Joe Rogan, and I mentioned Alex Jones, and I said, oh, I'll show you. And I pulled up your tweet, and I was like, it's him. He's the guy who's pretty much right about everything.
It's still hard to process.
It is. I mean, he's been wrong, 1 to 100 times he's been right. The problem is when he's wrong, it's kind of bad. But
yes,
he has also come out.
But out of all of that, he absolutely spews some really crazy shit.
Yeah, he does.
Like he starts talking about clockwork elves and all this other stuff. And I get it. The dude's probably done more DMT. I wouldn't say more than Joe Rogan, but he's done enough, I think. I think he has. I don't know. Maybe he hasn't. But he talks about all these things. He talks about interdimensional shit. And that's where everybody starts going, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even Tim Pool mentioned with Alex Jones, he's like, dude is legit smart. He knows what he's talking about, and he's right more than he's wrong. Yep. The problem is that whenever you start to talk about some of these really, really off-kilter things, you start to lose the more grounded people. So it's kind of like I knew somebody who was you knew them too. They were a hardcore QAnon conspiracy theorist.
Oh my God.
Hardcore.
The minute you said it, I knew who you're talking about.
Exactly. But you know what's funny? There has been multiple times where this person was right. And
legit.
I completely discredited them because of the craziness that they have spewed prior. So it was so easy for me to go, oh my God, dude, stop.
Out of the 150 crazy things you say, 1 or 2 of them are right. You still got to look at those 1 or 2 and go, what did that person know that I didn't? What were they reading that I wasn't reading? And I'm sorry, I cannot sit back and read that QAnon shit.
That shit's wholly cult-like, man. And it's sad.
It literally is. It's almost like reading the New York Times.
Yeah.
Holy cult.
The New York Times. True shit, though. It really is, man. But Dude, FedNow. Come on, man. We are in a place right now where we are about to. Okay, so the federal government. Here's one for you, you commies and you socialists and you Democrats.
You see, I had to check time.
Yeah,
See if I could actually have a drink.
you thought Joe Biden was going to pay off your student loans, did you? Well, take this. How about he comes out and they implement 80,000 IRS agents and they change
87,000.
Yeah.
Don't
There you
you
go.
ever
No,
shortchange that
can't
shit.
shortchange it. No. So he implements upwards of close to 90,000. How about that? That worked out
That's
good,
better.
right? Yeah.
That's better.
Just under 90,000 IRS agents to enforce a new rule, because this rule basically states that if you make any money outside of your job,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
That people don't know about, it needs to be taxed as income. The bar used to be 20,000. So let's just say I was a DoorDasher or something like that, and I was getting $5,000 doing DoorDash and then making, 50 at my job, whatever. I would have to reach a bar of 20 grand before they said that's taxable income.
Mhm.
Okay, you have to report this. Well, you have all these people doing side gigs like photography, music videos, whatever now, right? Anything.
Yeah.
And they're getting paid through PayPal. They're getting paid through Cash App, whatever your payment processor of choice is. Yeah. And Joe Biden comes along after you voted for him and says, well, we're going to drop that down from $20,000 to $600.
I was hoping you were going to actually say it because I thought you were going to come up with a different number.
Oh, no.
But I wanted you to express that
$600. Yeah.
$600.
So when he said he was going to tax the millionaires and the billionaires, what he really was saying was he's going to tax the shit out of you and me and everyone else who is just basically suffering wholly in this gig economy that they praise so well.
Yeah.
And said, you can barely make ends meet at your real job. In the gig economy, now we're going to tax the holy shit out of you. If you made over $600 in 1 year, and FedNow is exactly one of the perfect ways to do that because it is in itself a payment processing app, right? So they can track
so that we
everything.
understand what that FedNow is, right?
Mhm.
This is not a situation of, yes, they can track everything. Yes, they can literally stop you from buying things.
Mm-hmm.
They can also go in and pull your quote unquote credits out, right?
Yeah.
Oh, cheers. Oh, you didn't have a real good month with your ESG score. Your car payment's now $300 more.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to take it. They're not going to ask you for permission. They're not going to say,
no,
hey, you owe us this.
And who are you going to call?
It's a debt now.
Who are you going to call? Seriously.
Ghostbusters, I guess.
Because when this shit happens, I can't even call Verizon and talk to a normal motherfucker. I can't call anyone. I can't call Xfinity and have to wait for 3 hours. Try to call the federal government and tell them they fucked up. You know what I mean?
Good fucking luck.
Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, and look at Elon Musk, dude. Tesla, ESG, sweetheart. All the way up until the point he bought Twitter and said, get screwed. That's
good.
amazing. Yeah, it really is.
That is so good.
Now,
sorry.
You look at Tesla's ESG score. We're talking ESG scores.
Well, let's be honest here. Hold on.
He's not the darling anymore, man.
But he's also connected to China. Let's not break bones about that.
But so many others who are connected. Dude, everyone is connected to China. How does Coca-Cola have a better ESG score than, I mean, come on, man. There's some of this shit just don't make sense, and
because
it looks
a couple summers ago they told you to be less white.
Yeah.
That's why they have a better ESG score.
A couple months ago, British Petroleum told me to lessen my carbon footprint, and the thing is I was alive.
So I also want to go back, and I want to make some context
during BLACKWATER Horizon.
Yes.
So
I want to go back and make some context into something you asked earlier.
Okay.
You asked, what is equity? Okay.
Well,
and the actual answer to that is,
how do you, I know what equity is. How do you code equity into something like a central bank digital currency? What does that mean?
This is how. Because equity is not equality.
No.
Equity is the
opposite.
It's the outcome. How was this put? It's the equity is the equality of outcome. Not
Yeah.
And to describe that, it's not
Yeah.
it's not you worked harder than me,
Yeah, it's not
so
merit.
you deserve more. It's not meritocracy.
Right. Meritocracy, yeah.
Yes. It's you worked harder than me, I slacked off, but you get as much as I do.
Yes. Yeah. Sounds like communism to me and socialism.
That's
and
all it really is.
It really is. It's Steve Jobs built the system, but I get half his money because
I
yeah.
slept in the room one day.
Yeah. And let's not beat around the bush. It's very social justice. If you're from any minority class, your points go up.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you're a woman, your points go up. If you're
oh, hold on. No. Let's be very blunt about that too. If you are not a white male,
yeah,
a white straight male, I almost said that stupid word that everybody says. If you're not a white straight male, you get more.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a white straight male,
you start at zero.
Zero.
Yeah, you start at zero.
That's the reality of it.
Social justice doesn't apply to you. You just have to work hard to earn yours.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll still probably be screwed in the long term of this when you get your FedNow card that has your CBDC and your ESG scores on it. You can check your social credit score like China. And then when you walk in to a bank and they scan your face and you swipe your card and they say, "Sorry, sir, you're shit out of luck."
I know you work 60 hours this week, but your credit account is zero.
You said something on Twitter that was wholly racist and sexist, and we noticed that your ESG score took a hit. So,
shout out to Zuby. I said, "Okay, bro."
I love Zuby.
I know you do.
I love Zuby, dude. Zuby is it's based, super based dude, man. I like that word too.
He got canceled for saying "okay, bro."
Yeah, speaking of based, did you see that
canceled? He got banned.
You see the FBI just came out with their new list of right-wing extremist words on Twitter, like based, red-pilled, and
yes.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's why I had to say Zuby was based.
Blue pill in there too.
Did they?
I think to make it equal. They were like, oh.
I think they did black pill too.
Yeah.
Any pill, any color.
Yeah.
Just say a color and
just blanketed it and been like any word.
Color pills.
Any colored pill.
Yeah.
Then whatever.
For sure.
I think it's funny. I think it's absolutely hilarious that these are, for lack of a better term, their version of anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can't say those words.
Right.
Why can't I say those words? Like, why can't I say I've been red-pilled or I've been black-pilled or I'm been white-pilled or I'll never be blue-pilled?
No.
I watch The Matrix, motherfucker.
I
know what
I think you're
take.
born blue-pilled.
Isn't it ironic, though, in The Matrix? Like, what pill did you take to get out of The Matrix?
Right. Exactly.
The red pill.
The red pill.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's just be real about that. Also, for all you morons that watch that movie.
The Matrix?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially the new one. Don't ever for once think that movie is some tout to socialism and the greatest thing in the world. It's not. It is straight red pill all day.
If you watch The Matrix and you took
it's
away
the patriarch
socialism,
and the matriarch.
Oh my!
That movie is literally the patriarch and the matriarch.
Right.
You can't have one without the other. That was the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
The system doesn't work without it.
That is good. That is good.
The matriarch is motherly. The matriarch is caring. The matriarch is nurturing.
Yeah.
The patriarch is brave.
Yes.
Protective.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, what better system than to have that? And I know I totally went off on a different tangent.
No, it's yin and yang, man. It works.
You can't. You gotta have.
I don't know who the hell watched The Matrix and was like, socialism.
A lot of people
actually. Oh, really?
A lot of people were like,
oh my God.
This is the greatest thing in the world. Some people, like even some people on the right were like, oh, this is fucking woke as shit. I was like, no, it's not.
Really?
What are you talking about? You clearly were not watching the same movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
You clearly weren't. Now, don't get me wrong. You got the blue-haired chick running around and the very weird Morpheus, who was like kind of androgynous as far as what he actually was, right? But all in all, it was the most anti all of that shit that that anything could have ever been.
Right.
I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah.
I thought, especially the fourth one. I think the fourth one, and oddly enough, The fourth one was directed by a trans person.
Right.
You know what that trans person doesn't do?
Insert trans wokeness.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Just tells a story.
Right.
Just lives that person's life the way that person wants to live their life and doesn't interject it into anybody. I think. I don't know too much about the Wachowski ex-brother.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, it used to be the Wachowski brothers. Now it's like the Wachowski, that's a Wachowski. That's a different type of Wachowski
it's
now.
a different person.
Yeah.
Almost said guy.
Yeah. So on the last one, the other brother.
Yeah. The other brother.
He wasn't involved in the movie. It was just the one that transitioned. I guess now its name is Lana Wachowski.
Their name. Don't be a bigot, man.
Fair enough. Here's the weird part. Like, I didn't realize that had happened. I had never known. I didn't know.
I didn't either.
And
I've never heard of this.
Literally, when they were like directed by Lana Wachowski, I was like,
what?
Did they have a sister?
They have a sister?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, the Wachowski brothers handed it down.
Dope.
Like, I was like, cool.
And then the obvious, and then the obvious that you didn't think about, you're like, that makes sense now. Yeah. But hey, man, if you made a good movie, if you made a good movie. That's where I think a lot of people have problems these days with female directors. I love women. And I think
guy doesn't.
Right?
I mean, unless you're gay.
Yeah.
Let's just be real.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
The problem is when we start like injecting that into what we do as our whole identity. Like I'm a dude, but I like so many other things. That's not my identity. I'm just a fucking dude.
Yep.
But when you're a woman and you're a director, you're not like, man, we should make this dope horror film about XYZ. You're like, we should make a fully female cast of Ghostbusters. And we'll get this dumb dude to sit at the front desk, and it's just this woke garbage that you're like, dude.
Wait a minute, it wasn't a dumb dude, wasn't it? Freaking Chris Hemsworth,
dude. He was a moron.
I know
in the movie.
He played a moron.
Yes,
but that was Chris Hemsworth.
It was Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, no, let's
sad
get
son of a bitch.
Yeah, let's get this guy who is usually a superhero in fucking movies. And let's just make him like a complete moron, but he looks good. And that's what the focus is with the girls. They're like, oh my God, he sucks, but he's so cute and so handsome. Yeah. And then they wonder why these things tank. And it's like, dude, who are you? Who's your demographic here? Like who is watching this?
6 people to watch that movie.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted.
Right.
They didn't want to make money off of it. They just wanted to spout out their weird cult
that's
behavior.
It.
Like,
and then they talk shit about me and you because I go, I really didn't see it. I watched half of it and was like, yeah, this shit sucks. And they're like, oh, well, it's because you're sexist. And I'm like, no, it's because your movie sucked. And halfway through, I was like, fuck this, I'm bored.
It totally fucking sucked.
This shit's bad.
Yeah,
it's just fucking bad. I grew up in the 90s, in the 80s. We had Ghostbusters. This is not that.
Yeah.
You should have never. You want to make some woke trash? You better figure that shit out. Do not take something that I hold near and dear. Bill fucking Murray? Come on, man. You can't do that to my
Murray shit.
Yeah, bro. You can't call that shit Ghostbusters and that. I'm highly upset about that bullshit.
Legit.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it was bad.
So when you're a woman and you do a great movie, nobody fucking cares. Nobody cares. You won't have to, okay, what was the movie that just came out on Amazon Bros? The cover is two dudes holding each other ass. And the gay star of the movie, nobody's seen the movie. Nobody watched it.
No, nobody watched it.
Yeah, and the guy,
the director was like, why didn't anybody watch it?
Yes, yeah. You're homophobic if you don't watch it. No,
I just don't want to watch a shitty movie.
Yeah, I don't want to watch a movie where the whole movie centers around gay men. It's just not my jam. That's it. That's literally all it is. Like if you say Spider-Man's going to go do XYZ and the movie was great because he did whatever. It like, dude, you're going at the souls of every man who sees themselves as the hero of their own movie.
Look at what Disney did at the in Avengers Endgame. One of the very last scenes in that fight at the very end.
I don't think all the girls.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Okay, so all of the women superheroes, they were trying to get the gauntlet to the van, right? Or whatever. And all of the girls, like, they showed up and they were like, "We'll help you." And I was like,
Yeah.
was that fucking necessary?
Yeah. Right.
Like, sprinkle a little Peter Parker in there or something. Like, don't do that. It was really fucking cringe.
That's the problem is they go about it wrong. That's all it is, man. They go about it wrong. Like women, you know, Tim
they have a very front and center, beat you in the face with it approach. And
Yeah.
that's not how it works.
Well,
It
okay.
turns people off.
You remember the first Spider-Man, the what's homeboy's name?
Tobey
man?
Maguire Spider-Man?
Maguire. There you go.
For sure.
Okay.
Everybody remembers that.
Yeah, Tim Pool made a good example about these woke movies, and he referenced this and said he was explained this, that the women's fantasy, the men's fantasy is Tobey Maguire, right? He's just this kid, you know, and he's just this guy, and then he becomes a fucking superhero, right?
Sure.
That's the men's fantasy. I'm the superhero. I beat the bad guy. The woman's fantasy, they're trying to tell you, is the same thing. When in reality, the woman's fantasy is also in that movie.
Mhm.
The woman's fantasy is to be with the superhero.
Yeah.
She wants to be the smart reporter and the girl who gets the guy who saved the world.
Well, look,
That's why it works for both genders and sexes to see this movie. A movie like the Tobey Spider-Man is this giant multi-million-dollar blockbuster because everyone looks at it and goes, yeah, this is what I want. Men are going, fuck yeah, Spider-Man, right? Kicking
I think
ass.
the new Spider-Man's generally the same way.
Right. And women are looking at it and going, hell yeah, get that guy, right?
Yeah.
That's their fantasy. Not all women want to be the man. They want to be with the man.
Yeah.
That's where they're falling short, is they're saying, well, if Tobey can do it, this woman can do it.
Case in point, Captain Marvel.
Yes, there you go.
I liked the movie.
Right.
I liked the premise of the movie.
Yeah.
It was overbearing with the woman superhero thing. Like, and it was kind of a turnoff in the realm of like, how do I put this? She was not an atypical
Feminine.
feminine woman.
Right.
Pepper Potts was more feminine.
Right.
Like, let's be real about that. But
nowhere in that movie it exists the men or female fantasy that they want to live.
yes,
You look at it and you go, it's not a bad movie. I get it. But you're not looking at her and being like, yeah, I want to be with her.
no, I'm afraid she's gonna kick my freaking ass.
Right. But the opposite is true of men and women. So if that is Captain America, men are going, fuck yeah, man, I wish that shit would happen to me. I'd be kicking ass all over the place. And women are going, fuck yeah, I wish it happened to you too. You know what I mean?
Wish you'd lose that fat ass belly.
Just saying. Women and men's fantasies both exist in these movies, but then when they flip the narrative, both sexes go, it was an okay movie, but it doesn't garner the same attention and respect and
Legit.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
CBDCs suck. I don't want them. I want cash.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're gonna like buy weed with CBDC. It's gonna be very difficult unless
weed
they
will be
legalize.
legal.
Maybe I don't
Like,
know.
Probably all drugs by then.
I've been told weed was gonna be legal since like 1998 here in Florida, and here we are.
I mean, it is legal in Florida.
To a degree.
It's medicinally legal.
It's
Like,
bullshit.
It doesn't change anything.
No.
People still smoke it. People still like,
Yeah,
even
no, it
whether or not
doesn't.
you have a medical card, like there's still a market for it.
I knew tons of people who were smoking weed before it was legal, after it was legal.
The only thing that legalizing weed did was made weed more expensive.
Yes.
That's the only thing that it did.
Yep.
Weed should be cheaper.
Yeah, it should.
Like, as
But
you
I do gotta
legalize
say,
it should be cheaper.
I'm pretty sure it's still like, I don't think inflation really has that much of an effect on weed.
It's not inflation.
No,
It's not inflation.
like
It's.
But I think weed costs a very similar, and not that I would know, but I think weed is very similarly priced to what it was like in the 90s and early 2000s. It's close.
No, it's not.
It's close.
No, it's not.
Not this. It doesn't have the same inflationary, like,
Listen, bro. in the early 2000s, and I'm just going to be real about it, I was buying 8-ounce quarters for $25 fucking dollars. Try to buy 8 ounces now. Or not 8 ounces, sorry, 8 grams.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
8
my
ounces
bad.
is like 2
I don't do non-American weights.
kilos.
I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
But seriously, I was buying 8-gram quarters for $25. For
Right.
25, what is a quarter? It's 25.
Yeah.
I paid $25 for that.
I think it's
Try to buy
7.5 grams, something like that.
Try to buy that now for that price.
Right.
You're going to
How
get
much?
a bag full of stems and seeds.
Oh yeah, for
You're getting zero.
No,
buddy.
but there came a point when like the real good weed started hitting the streets in the early 2000s here, and quarters were going roughly for like 100, 125 for some like one hitter shit, right?
But then that's genetically altered. Like I'm talking about, throw a seed in the dirt, grow some weed.
Yeah.
That weed.
Right.
Not the shit that they sprayed.
Oh no, and there was good like non-medical weed back then for 25, 30 a quarter.
Not the shit that they mixed with mangoes.
Back in the days, that's true. That's true. I'll give you that. I used to buy some really, really good weed for like 35 a quarter back in, when I was younger.
For sure. I don't know. Maybe I had a really good, like a really nice dealer, I guess, at that time.
Right.
And he was just like, it's $25. I was like, I love that.
Nice.
But it was really good.
How do you think it's going to work with the CBDCs, man? How are you going to buy drugs with CBDCs? I would just like to know. Yeah. How? Are you going to have like the Square app?
Your drug dealer is going to have a Square app.
You're going to have the thing on your phone where you like slide the FedNow card and just charge it as like, this dude mowed my grass. So, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like yeah. Okay. Gig economy.
Bought a book at the library.
I'm a lawnmower.
Yeah.
I'm a lawnmower. That's what I do. Okay. Yeah. Bought a book at the library.
Yeah.
Swipe.
Yep.
$35.
Exactly.
There you go.
I'm just saying, like that's probably, look, never, ever, ever underestimate
the power of the black market.
Oh, legit,
I'm telling you, I've seen it. That's why I don't believe in any of this. Even if I was for this, okay? Let's say I was a guy who was for it and said, okay, David Hogg. Love David Hogg, right? He sucks holy. I know, that just confused you. I love that I follow him on Twitter and just the shit he says, I'm like...
Oh, that's what you love about it.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, what?
So let's say, for example, I'm like, okay, CBDCs. You want to outlaw guns. You want to outlaw drugs. The only way this works is through that, right? Yeah. Is to have complete control federally over what people spend on what items.
Yeah.
Okay. I can no longer just come to you with cash and buy fentanyl, buy guns and ammo on the street. Everything is going through some payment processor that is being eyed by the government. Okay.
Yeah. I knew it was a problem when we started seeing the payment processors in our own banks.
Yes.
I immediately was like,
but even then, and I'm not smart enough to tell you how it's going to happen, but even then, someone will figure out a way to game that system so they can still sell you drugs and guns.
Oh,
it is not feasible to come to the conclusion that even if the feds had control 100% of our money digitally, that everything just stops.
Yeah.
Drugs are gone now because of FedNow and CBDC. It's not going to happen.
Every time that I have a conversation about this, either with you or anybody else, the only thing that I can even, like, in the back of my head, the movie Demolition Man keeps running.
Yeah.
Like right back
Great
here.
movie.
And it blows my mind because you had that whole underground world.
Yep.
Right?
It's going to be us eating rat burgers. Driving Mustangs.
For sure.
Dude, I'm telling you, Demolition Man, that's where we are.
Yeah.
That is where we are.
That's where we are. That's
gas cars.
Like where we're headed.
Gas cars, like, yep.
It's where we're headed.
Yep. It's where we're headed for sure.
We're looking at a class system at that point.
Yes.
Not a meritocratic system, but a class-based system of you have it.
Yep.
You don't.
Right. Yeah, and to have it, you have to live up to these standards, as in ESG.
Yeah, you have to use the 3
DEI.
shells.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
How do you use the 3 shells?
No one knows. No one knows.
I want that answer.
So do I.
I've wanted that answer for
It's
near
been like 20 years. Yeah. I know.
I want that answer.
We need to get Sandra
You think
Bullock
Sandra
on.
Bullock would answer that?
Dude, you went straight where I went with that. That was great.
I want to know
That
if
was
she knows
great.
how to use them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
She should. She lived in that time. So the 3 shells, it was, she should know how.
did she live in that time?
Does
Does that movie still even exist considering the Mandela effect?
It does. I just watched it. It's
Okay.
it's one of my binge movies that I go back to that I'm like, dude, you can't go wrong. If you have not seen Demolition Man, if you're a younger generation, watch it. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
This is before movies injected woke garbage ideologies, political anything. It was just good movie making, creativity. But I do got to say it was somewhat prophetic
Yes.
in a way that you look at it and go, holy shit.
Kind of like the book 1984's prophetic.
Yes.
What's the other one? Oh, damn. George Orwell book. 1984.
Yeah.
There was another one he wrote. Yeah. They're all very, you start to wonder, right? When you start watching media like that and you're consuming those things and you go, why is that now?
Yeah.
Why is this happening now? This movie's 20 years old. What the hell did they know back then?
Right. It just seems like natural progression, I guess.
Somebody, maybe, right? Is it natural progression, or is somebody out there going, hey, pay attention, pay attention?
It's kind of like Terminator, right? We look at what is going on with AI at this point, and you have people like Elon Musk, who I love Elon Musk, man. I really do think that dude knows a lot. He's just, I don't want to say a genius,
I sure hope
but
it's not a game.
What do you mean?
I hope that he's not playing.
I hope so too.
Playing
I do.
The good guy.
I know. Me too. Me too.
Did you watch being the absolute?
Did you watch the BBC thing? He smoked that guy. I loved it.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
he lit him up. Lit him up. That was great.
Good.
So I've played with this in my head too about Elon Musk playing the good guy, and I hope that's not the case. Okay. I believe he really does genuinely want to help mankind and give something useful to humanity. I really do. Whether it's working now 100%, like we can't sit here and say Tesla is a god, because Tesla's still dirty energy disguised as clean energy in my mind, right? Where do you get lithium? Where do you get cobalt? Where do you get these things?
Yeah.
Come on, we know this, right?
That's more destructive than fossil fuels.
Now, I agree with the idea in the end game of electric vehicles being, it can work to a degree, but we're not there yet. We're not there, and I'm not going to pretend like we are. I just lost it. Where was I going with this?
I don't know, but monorails seem like a really good idea.
No, where was I going? I was making a point about
you were talking about Elon Musk.
Yeah, but I brought him up for some other reason. Fuck.
Lithium mines.
No, it was before that. I don't know.
You lost it, didn't you?
I did.
This is dementia. This is the early onslaught. Now I can't speak of dementia. This is what happens when we go over a half hour.
Yeah.
This is what happens. But we're gunning it, dude. We're gonna do this.
We have 16 minutes to forget what we're doing. I love it. I love it.
Did you hear that they're making a 4th Back to the Future? Because I want to bring this. Yeah. Straight up, dude.
I don't know how I feel about this, man. Doc and Marty,
legit, both of them. I thought Christopher Lloyd was dead.
What?
How fucking old is he?
Yeah. He looked pretty old back then.
I thought he was dead, dude. And nope, they're making a 4th one.
No.
Yep.
Dude, I'm pretty sure Michael J. Fox is kind of like fucked up though, ain't he? Like, can he do Marty?
If you got the money, you can fix whatever you want, can't you?
I don't know, man. I've seen him.
I know his MS is
no,
MS, right?
it's
no,
Parkinson's.
Yes.
Yeah, it's gotten bad.
It's gotten really bad,
dude. It's sad because I
it's
I'm a Michael J. Fox
we're
guy,
gonna
man.
go into this one. So it's
80s.
deceptive editing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's what they do. They're really good at it. They can put anybody in front of a screen or in front of a camera, and they can edit it
Oh, bro.
so that you look like a functioning human being.
There was some
Oh
hella
wow,
deep.
you're over there going like this.
Dude, I watched a Bruce Willis movie where his face was like legitimately deep faked onto some. You can kind of tell, and they talked about it, and I was like, "This is where we are now.
Yeah,
this is where we are."
No, it's scary, isn't it?
Like they will deep fake Bruce Willis's old ass face onto some young ass dude's body, and then just do a Die Hard 17. You know what I mean?
I would accept it.
We're there.
I would accept that.
If it's not woke, I'm good. I love Die Hard.
Do you think Die Hard would ever go woke? I don't think Die Hard would ever go woke.
Who owns it? I don't know.
Fox?
Maybe.
Fox, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways, so yeah, making a Back to the Future 4.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how I feel about it. It looked very unnecessary.
Yeah. Well, I think they need to get out of the business of remaking a whole lot of these movies, man. We're remaking
Unnecessary in the sense, unnecessary in the sense that I still don't have hoverboards.
Yeah.
My car doesn't fly.
You were supposed to have these things in 2015. We were lied to.
I was promised these
things.
Was it?
It was 15, right?
Yes. Yeah. I was promised holographic 3D images.
Yes.
Jaws coming out at me.
Right.
Like, I don't have any of that.
Instead, we got CBDCs and Joe Biden. That's what we got.
Authoritarianism.
Yes. Communism.
Yay.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Back to the Future.
Gotta love the future, man.
I kind of want to go back to the 90s, though. Like, when things were relatively normal. I mean, at worst, you had punk kids running around.
The 90s was a different type
dug the shit out of it.
Different type of generation, man. We really, really were. And it's funny because in the 90s, we
were teenagers in the 90s, though. So
yeah, my parents used to tell me like, you kids, this and that about what they were in the 60s and 70s. Dude, in the 90s was so different. It was just so different. It's different than now, and it's different than then.
Yeah.
It was its own thing.
It was a very odd time.
It was a very odd time. It was. Yeah.
Yeah. A sitting president got blown.
Yeah.
Got away with it.
Got Lewinsky'd.
Yeah.
Gotta love it, man.
Yeah, dude. It was it's a different time. And I mean, I appreciated it. Yeah, Jinko jeans.
Yeah, the Jinkos, they're coming back.
They already have.
They're coming back. Who the hell? Dude, stop.
I thought about buying some.
Don't copy our swag.
I thought about buying some because I wanted to go back to that like big old stovepipes. Like legit, dude.
You had to buy some
at
Airwalks.
42 years old.
Yeah, man. What?
Get some Airwalks or Vans.
Some Airwalks, yeah, Vans.
Some hard shell Adidas's.
Dude, in the 90s, I bet kids don't even know this now. Back in the 90s, starter hats, you could not get them at Walmart. Okay.
No,
this was a Foot Locker brand. Yep. You were paying, $30 for a hat.
Oh, easily.
$150 for a jacket. Starter was the kids now, they were like Champion. Champion was garbage back then when nobody gave a damn.
Champion was what you bought at Rack Room Shoes.
Yes. And same with like if you were a skater kid, Airwalks were not Payless shoes.
No.
They are now.
Yep. Airwalks, Vans.
Yep. Vans
Volcom.
were, yeah. Volcom, yep. They were all legit brands, man.
You had to go to
and then everyone sold out and said, well, shit.
What was the store?
Walmart.
Journeys? Was it Journeys that sold the shoes?
Journeys.
You had to go to Journeys to buy those shoes.
Yep.
Couldn't just go into Walmart and or Payless or Sears.
Walmarts were fucking tiny in the 90s too, man. We didn't have these like super centers.
God, no.
No.
Dude. You didn't have a grocery center in Walmart.
Nope.
You were lucky if you could get some produce.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No, it was a different time back then. And I miss it. I want to go back so badly.
Me too. But does it ever make you wonder if we're our parents? Like, do you ever think about that? Because my parents used to say the same thing about
I think they'd go back.
Our generation. Yeah. They would say things like, man, these kids and these things, I wish we could go back to the 60s, 70s. Like things were different.
Wholeheartedly, they'd go back.
So I don't necessarily think that we are right. I think that it's a natural progression. Like kids now who are like fuck us.
Yeah.
In 20 years are going to want to go back to this time because shit's going to be so fucked up. They're going to
Yeah.
have the CBDCs.
Yeah.
They're going to have all this government regulation. They're going to be like,
Black
hey,
Mirror stuff.
I want to buy these shoes. And the
Yeah.
government's going to be like, no, those aren't approved shoes.
Mhm.
So screw you.
Yeah.
And kids are going to be like, man, when I was growing up, I could buy whatever shoes I wanted to buy.
Yeah. In the vein of the ESG and the CBDCs.
Yeah.
So do you ever watch have you ever watched Black Mirror?
No.
You should absolutely watch every series in
Okay.
Black Mirror. There's an episode in Black Mirror where this the entire society is judged by how people like you
Really?
and whether
Social credit score.
it's exactly a social credit score. It was insane. The
Wow.
episode was so ridiculously insane. And I was like, oh my God. And now I hear this and I'm going, these motherfuckers were right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen the reference. I've seen a lot of references about Black Mirror.
Oh yeah.
being,
dude, it's a great series.
Yeah, being very similar to the times we live right now.
Yep.
Yeah, I got to watch that. I think that's where I was headed when my dementia kicked in about Elon Musk was the ESG scores and Elon Musk that, Tesla and all these things that he does. And Tesla had a really good ESG score because of their carbon footprint. I mean, let's not, we're not going to pretend about the whole China lithium and all that, but that's not what this is about.
Yeah,
though.
they don't mark that as a carbon.
That's right.
Problem.
They look at Tesla
not producing carbon.
Right. They're like, no, Tesla is great. And then all of a sudden he buys Twitter. He goes on this right-wing extremist. And when I say right-wing extremist, I really mean freedom of speech, constitutional rights, similar opinion on Twitter and all these things. And then his ESG tanks. Mm-hmm. And then he goes on this rant about it. He's like, this is exactly that. It is not. It's not what it's being presented as. The ESG is nothing more than a social credit score for companies. Okay. Yeah. When you have BP, and I know a lot of people watching probably don't know about BLACKWATER Horizon and all the Gulf oil spill in, what happened here with
the people
BP.
Who can vote, we're too young to know to
exactly.
remember that.
But BP should not even have.
Who can vote today.
They shouldn't even have an ESG score. If they have one, it should be a negative. But they're up at the top.
Agreed.
How? Again?
Because they paid for it.
Their carbon footprint is everywhere. If you live in Florida and you step in the sand, you are legitimately stepping into their carbon footprint.
Yep.
Because it is everywhere.
Because they spilled so much damn oil.
Like 500 trillion gallons of oil into the Gulf of Mexico. It was insanity. Mm-hmm. It was like, we're spilling 55,000 gallons per second into the ocean.
Yeah.
And took days to stop. It's ridiculous.
So you brought that up and it made me think about, so I'm going to ask a question and maybe we'll get to it in a later episode or something like that. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you can look this up for me.
All right.
What happened to the big giant swirling fires in the ocean? Do you remember those?
No.
You don't remember seeing those?
No. Big giant swirling fires.
I was like a whirlpool of the ocean on fire.
What?
You didn't see those?
Is it from the oil or is it from?
No. It was never that big of a story.
Okay.
It just happened and then everybody forgot about it.
Yeah. Kind of like the BP thing.
It burned into my brain because I was like, it's happening.
Yeah.
It's fucking happening. It's all going to shit right now. One of two things is coming out of that.
Yeah.
One of two things is coming out of that.
Right.
Either we're in the middle of Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
And a fucking giant kaiju's coming out.
Dude, I would have loved that.
Or Satan is coming.
Right.
Like literally one of the two, right?
I'm going to take Pacific
But it's
Rim.
not going to be good.
Yeah.
Either way, it's not going to be good.
Right.
I want to know what happened to that.
Right.
And fuck me, I didn't go look.
Dude, I'm going to look it up.
I saw it and I was like, man, I really want to know what happened to those.
Yeah.
Because did they put them out?
Well, it's like
Are they still out there doing it?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm like, is it because of oil spills or is it because of like the giant islands of garbage floating around the ocean that nobody talks about?
It's incredibly possible. I don't know. Nobody ever talked about it. It was never a huge story.
And
I would always think in my lifetime, all the crazy shit that's happened, I would think that the ocean on fire in a giant fucking whirlpool would be a huge fucking story.
It's like a hurricane, but it's on fire
in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
That should have been a huge story.
Yeah.
I'm not wrong about this.
No. You're absolutely right in this.
And fuck me if it was wrong, like if it was some fake thing or some stupid video.
I'm gonna look it up. When?
Oh, it's like
90s or now?
No, it was very recent.
Okay.
It was very recent. It was maybe right in the middle of COVID.
Okay.
Right in the middle, maybe yeah. I think it was. I think it was right in the middle of all that. And I think we were all just so very...
I know exactly what caused it. Climate change.
Bill Gates.
True story. Maybe. Somewhat accurate.
Maybe he just bought up all the ocean land too.
Oh, dude, you don't even want to get me started about this shit because I just saw a story came out about the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab and all, his genius, this guy, putting out a statement urging countries to ration citizens' water because water is not a human right.
The fuck he say?
I'm going to say this again. Real direct. Water is not a human right.
Fight me, ho.
So, according to Joe Biden, Batacalf care is a human right.
But it is.
When are we at
when we actually get the definition of what Batacalf care is, I'm almost positive
it'll be a human right. And you can probably search that on Wikipedia and it will verify that Batacalf care is a human right. It's a necessity. But water is not. Water, you have to pay for water. At this point, I should be able to collect.
We still pay. We paid for water all of our lives.
I know that.
We shouldn't have to, but
the government also should not be in the business of rationing my water. There's more water on this planet than there is fucking land. Why are you going to say, who are you to tell me water's not a human? So at what point do they start taxing you for your allotted sunlight intake, right? They're like, look.
Oh, we're not far from that, are we?
Sunlight, it's not a human right.
You get taxed to go. Look,
we're already taxed for water. Water is legit a necessity for human life.
They tax you to dump your shit.
I mean, if somebody
do you think they're not going to tax you for sunlight?
If somebody has to process my shit, I'm cool paying them for that.
Listen, dude, that's the whole thing on climate change. They said we can fix climate change if you just accept these fucking taxes.
Yeah.
Huh?
Serious?
How? Does anybody actually have a fucking solution other than taxes? If it's taxes that I need to pay to fix the climate, whatever the fucking problem is.
Oh, dude.
Then show me the solution to it because I will gladly write a fucking check right now.
Well, according to the Democrats, the solution to ending gun violence is also taxes because, you are not allowed to have assault weapons unless you pay the government $300, $500 wait a year, and then you can have whatever the hell you want. Apparently, taxes when you
say assault weapons, you're specifically
fully automatic,
talking,
NFA regulated machine gun. I know what an assault weapon is.
I'm just asking.
I'm not one of those guys.
I want the definition to be there.
But
I don't want any misconceptions as far as that goes.
Suppressors kill people unless you pay the government $300 for a tax stamp, wait 6 months and get approved, and then you can have said item that is a killer item.
Let's just be real about a suppressor. It's just a solvent filter.
Yeah.
What?
Taxes is always the answer. It's so true, man. Taxes, you can have your water when you pay for it, and you can have your sunlight when you pay for it.
So I remember
through CBDCs and FedNow.
I remember in school, I remember being told a story about a group of guys that were really fed up with being taxed and not having any representation.
I kind of remember something
and then 245 fucking years later, here we are.
Yeah.
Again.
Because people don't learn.
Never have.
I remember a similar story.
We're chickens.
Yep.
We're chickens in a flock, and we're all just kind of hoping that somebody feeds us. Right? I don't know. I went off on a tangent there. I got really angry about the taxing. But
as rightfully so, man, because that's what all this is.
Yeah.
All this is taxing.
So at the end of this,
And
we're
you will
gonna
be
wrap it up
taxed
here.
through CBDCs
Yes.
and FedNow.
Of course we will.
And thank you.
So we'll wrap this up here, and you guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
Yep.
You
a
can
good
follow
night.
me on Twitter at You've Been Robbed.
Yep.
You can follow Jimmy on Twitter.
MPTV Jimmy.
You can follow us on Twitter at MPTV Crew.
Yep.
You guys have a good day.
Yep. Good night.
Stay free.